We're not eating. We're not drinking. There are just bones left. An intercepted call from the front lines reveals Russian soldiers starving in Ukraine, uniforms hanging loose, bodies wasting away. Ukrainian intelligence says logistics have collapsed. But how does an army fight when it can't even feed its own troops? Disturbing evidence has emerged of what appears to be a humanitarian crisis unfolding within Russian military ranks. On Tuesday, February 3rd, Ukraine's main intelligence directorate released an intercepted phone call that reveals Russian soldiers are starving on the front lines. The conversation, posted to the HUR's YouTube channel, paints a grim picture of collapsing logistics and deteriorating conditions for troops fighting in Ukraine. In the recording, a Russian soldier describes his physical condition in stark terms. His voice carries the weight of exhaustion as he explains the reality of life without adequate food or water.
How can things be like this? We're not eating, we're not drinking. If you look at me from the side, it's like everything is just hanging. Even the uniform I arrived in on day 40, when it's hanging like it's on a hanger. There are just bones left. At least the beard is still saving me. At least you can see something. Yeah, I saw it. I saw some photo with the beard. You look completely messed up.
His conversation partner mentions seeing a recent photograph of the soldier and notes how dramatically his appearance has changed. The implications are clear. This isn't a brief shortage or temporary setback. These soldiers have been without proper provisions for an extended period, long enough for severe physical deterioration to become obvious even through a photograph. Ukrainian military intelligence has characterized this as further confirmation of systemic failure.
Military intelligence has received further confirmation of the collapse of the Russian army's logistics system. Infantry units have been left without proper food and supplies for a long time.
This isn't the first time such reports have surfaced. In March of last year, Alexander Borodin, spokesman for Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade, described similar conditions facing Russian forces in the Kharkiv direction.
They are starving there. There is no drinking water, but you have to understand. These are problems the command is aware of. They know the infantry will survive for several weeks, and they're okay with that. There's a reserve system. They calculate how many they will lose, even within a week.
The evidence suggests this isn't an isolated incident, but rather a recurring pattern. Last October, the Telegraph reported on Russian soldiers trapped in what they called the death zone of the Dnipro River. These troops were stranded on low-lying islands in the Kherson region, surrounded by open water and cut off from supply lines. According to the report, hundreds of soldiers were left without provisions, and some reportedly died from starvation. Colonel Alexander Zavtanov of the 30th Marine Infantry Corps described what Ukrainian forces learned from prisoners captured in that area.
Prisoners whom our fighters recently captured on the islands said it was impossible to deliver food and drinking water to them, and they had to drink river water.
Around the same time, Ukraine's 92nd Separate Assault Brigade released video testimonies from surrendered Russian soldiers that corroborated these accounts. In one particularly harrowing statement, a prisoner described watching his fellow soldiers succumb to hunger.
I saw 5 comrades starving to death in a nearby forest.
These aren't just stories of battlefield hardship or the normal deprivations of war. They describe a failure of the most basic military obligation: keeping soldiers fed and supplied. The intercepted call from this week suggests that whatever systemic problems existed months ago have not been resolved. If anything, they may be worsening. As this conflict continues, the human cost is being measured not just in combat casualties, but in soldiers slowly wasting away, abandoned by the very system that sent them to fight.